ShockCast episode 198? Yeah, let's go with that. Ever so creepily getting to ShockCast 200. I can't wait. Joining me today, Mr. Ryan Meisler, how are you?
I'm good, except for being distracted by all the, 75% offs and 80% offs and 90% offs that are on the Steam Holiday Sale right now. So, but other than that, I'm good.
Yeah, the trick is I already did my Christmas shopping, so I have no money, so I can just look at this page and nothing will happen because I can't afford it. And I, of course, am George Jimenez. We're both staff writers from DualShockers.com, and we're going to talk about video games and things involving video games. And Ryan's going to tell you what video games came out. Ryan, apparently games came out this week. What happened? Explain to me this new release idea.
New releases are when there are video games and they come out on a certain day of the week, and you get, brace for it, new video games. Does that shock you? Does that shock you at all?
No. So basically, we're getting is anything being remastered, being re-released? Is that a new video game? Can I do that?
I don't know, but anyway, so should I go off the list of December 14th to the 21st or 21st to the 28th?
You know what? Do Christmas week, man.
Do Christmas week? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go through both just so that way we can get everything. So, because it's not a terribly long list. So, first we have for the 14th to the 21st we had Killer Instinct, the complete bundle for Xbox One.
Yeah, buddy.
And then we have Sun Age, Battle for Elysium on PC through Steam, Lisa for PC, God's Rush for iOS, Loadout for PS4, which is the new free-to-play game. Guilty Gear Xrd Sign. I have no idea how to say that title at all.
Xrd.
Xrd. I don't even know. Anyway, so we have Elite Dangerous on PC, The King of Fighters 98 Ultimate Match Final Edition, Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots. That's the digital download version on PSN for PS3. Oddworld Munch's Odyssey HD for PSN. Super Mega Baseball for PS4 and PS3. Tetris Ultimate for PS4. Kalimba for Xbox One, which is previously known as Project Totem. Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes for PC through Steam. Meme Run for Wii U. That's an awesome name. Block Drop Cross Twisted Fusion for Wii U. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D for 3DS eShop. A lot of Metal Gear this week.
Yeah, seriously.
Natsume Championship Wrestling for Wii U. And then for the 21st and the 28th, we have Resogun on PSN and PS3. So I guess I didn't know it was coming to PS3. But anyway, Trine Enchanted Edition for PS4. Broken Sword 5, The Serpent's Curse, Episode 2 for PSN. Field Runners 2 for PSN. Shake Spears for PS3, another good name. Switch Galaxy Ultra for PS4 and PSN. F, A Fairy Tale of the Two for PC. I can't pronounce half these games. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for Wii U. And Duck Hunt for Wii U.
There is nothing on this list I actually want to play. Outside of maybe Elite Dangerous or like Killer Instinct, but
I did actually I got Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes from Amazon for like $10 for the PS4 version. So I'll go with that and just call that the PC version since I'm gonna play that anyway. So.
That works. There are no rules, no releases, right?
Yeah,
it is a game with no winner.
Yeah, or Kalimba also is a pretty cool game. I checked that out at PAX East this year, which it was pretty cool. A cool little like puzzle game for Xbox One. So check that.
I think it's safe to say that like we're at the time of year where like games are done coming out. Like the Star Wars game came out a few weeks ago. The expansion, the Rise of Revan or Fall of Revan. WoW thing came out. Like I think all the big box AAA titles they've stopped. We're getting all indie games and stuff like that coming out.
The Crew came out, but other than that, we're pretty much past that point now. So.
Oh man, I'll tell you about The Crew in a second. Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been playing games. Ryan, I'm happy to hear that you've finally have gotten through Far Cry 4. Tell me, is it just as magical at the end as it is in the beginning?
So I actually just finished it probably within the last like hour or two before we were recording, so I was very happy to find. I have a couple more missions I have to finish. Like I have to finish the Shangri-La missions, which are really cool. Those are like some of the really trippy parts of the game. But overall, I really enjoyed it. Without spoiling anything, I wasn't a fan of the ending. It has a very, very abrupt ending, and it just kind of felt like, oh, that's it? Like, it just ends. But I don't
I
know.
mean,
But anyway,
is there a resolution to was it Ajay Ghali's story and Pig and Min? Like, is there like a clear like it's over, or is it just kind of like there might be room for more? Like, yay.
yeah, it doesn't really feel like either. It just feels like a very weird, like, shortstop, like, oh, well, now you can just go back and finish whatever missions you didn't do in the main campaign. I was like, oh, okay. Um, but other than that, I enjoyed it a lot. Coming from really enjoying Far Cry 3, like, if you really
Mhm.
loved Far Cry 3, then you will really like Far Cry 4 because that's like the strongest. It's like its biggest strength and its biggest weakness is that like it keeps all those gameplay hooks that Far Cry 3 had and just expands on them and makes them even better,
Yeah,
which is great because
even down to like the climbing of the tower, and that
right.
unlocks more things to do. But like I found that there was only like as much as I really liked the side missions, I felt like I just kept doing a lot of the same type of side missions, like those hostage rescues
Yeah,
or those supply runs. You know, fun as they are, but like I said, I'm only maybe 4 or 5 hours into it, where I'm still enjoying that. Is there
yeah.
more of that same going towards the end of the game?
I mean, throughout the game, it is pretty much that cycle of like, okay, go to bell towers to uncover a new area of the map, and then go liberate more outposts. Or if you get adventurous, you can go do the fortresses, which are like the super outposts,
Hmm.
which are pretty cool. Um, you know, so I think it doesn't really change in that respect. But a lot of the missions and the set pieces are really cool. There are some really really awesome like action set pieces, and because of like how Far Cry is so like unpredictable and you don't know what happens
Hmm.
um, you know that's like the biggest draw to the game for me. Like especially like I was doing one mission where I had to kill all these like snipers in this one area, and I killed five. I had to kill six of them, so I killed five of them, and all of a sudden I started walking over toward the building. The sixth sniper he just he walked off a building by accident and just killed himself, and I was like, oh okay, like just, all of a sudden I just saw him fall, scream, and then die, and I was like, oh okay, so he did the work for me.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my favorite
but
things to do have been the you get the live bait, so you can throw like a piece of meat out there, and
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
wildlife is in the area is just gonna come barging in. So
Yeah, it's
I had a
great
assault
when
something and a bunch of like just tigers came out of nowhere and started eating people. I'm like, this is kind of cool.
yeah,
Or
it was
I
cool.
miss the bears. The bears seem completely unstoppable.
Oh yeah, the bears are that I was gonna say that's great. I did a couple missions where I was in an area with a ton of bears, so I would just go into an outpost and just throw a bunch of bait in there, and just an army of bears would just like fly into the base, and like the guys would be like bears, bears. I don't know. I wish I could do it with eagles though, because apparently eagles are like everyone's afraid of them in the game, because
They're
everyone in the game now
horrifying.
is like
They're horrifying,
'cause
and you see
every
like all
time
the NPCs freak the fuck out when an eagle is around. They just
every
start shooting. They just run into things. I'm like, wow. I'm like, the
every
eagles aren't
time
even doing anything.
every time I drove past an NPC, I felt like 90% of the time I would drive past and they would be like, "Look, eagle!" and they would be like just like unloading on this eagle flying in the. It was the funniest thing, but
And like, I've had an eagle do like the full like dive at me, where I'm just kind of like, oh crap, and then you kill it, and it just came up short. But there were times where like I would miss completely, and it just starts pecking away at you, and like, I can't believe I'm having harder times with a bird than I am with just armed army guys.
I know, yeah, or even like the honey badger, like in the beginning of the game, the honey badger is like, well, I mean, the honey badger don't care, obviously, but
That's true.
like, but also like, I remember I shot a honey badger like 3 times in the face with my bow and arrow, still trying to attack me, and I was like, what the hell? Like, they're just unstoppable. So
Honey badger. That's Far Cry equals scary honey
I
badgers.
know, yeah, but yeah, overall, like, I really enjoyed the game. I just feel like the story and the is really the weakest part of the game because
Hmm.
it has great characters. Like, it has like Pagan Min is a great character, and even like Amita and Sabal, like even though like the decision making in it kind of does is pretty like typical, like oh, choose the
Yeah,
you have
it's
to
very
do one or the
binary.
other.
It's
But
you do him and it pisses off this person, or you do this and it pisses off the other person. But
right,
other than that,
it
it doesn't
doesn't.
really change outside of a couple of dialogue lines. Being like, oh, you should have done
Yeah,
this instead.
I mean, the good thing about that was like between, so for those that haven't played the game, you have these two NPC characters where you have to kind of side with one of them at certain points in the game. So you have like missions where you have to choose one or the other, and then your mission changes based on that outcome. But I liked how like at least with Amita and Sabal's mission, like neither of them was really like the good one or the bad one. Like both
Hmm.
of their missions had like shades of gray, so whether it was like Amita telling you like burn down this one temple or something like
Right.
that, or like Sabal trying to like preserve karate culture, but also like doing like degrading women and things like that. So like there were like a bunch of interesting things that made it so it wasn't like okay, so neither of them is like the good one or the bad one. It's just whoever you decide to choose with. So I think I liked that. But yeah, overall the story I wasn't really, and also because Ajay was just like not an interesting character. He
Yeah,
was
he's super dull. But I mean, the game itself, I think, because there's just so many different things to do at any given
yeah
moment, because it's like you can come in for 15 minutes and just do some things and still feel like you got something done. Or if you
yeah
want to do the full long stretch, you're like, yeah, this game could keep you busy. I'm just hoping that for the next Far Cry, it just kind of deviates a little bit from the formula because, like I said, this and we joked about it last week. Like this really
yeah.
does feel like a Far Cry 3.5, but it's not bad because I'm not
Right.
fed up with that gameplay just yet.
It still does everything that I loved about Far Cry 3, which is great, and then improves on it as well. But again, like you said, like if Far Cry 5 is Far Cry 4.5, then I will have issues because and even more so because because Ubisoft's games have had so much crossover between each other, like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and Watch Dogs have all had very similar gameplay hooks, where it's like, okay, go find this tower, and then
even
like
the crew is you drive up to these satellite uplinks that unlock a part of the map that lets you fast travel to any of the missions within that map,
right.
within what you just unlock. And I'm like, this is they're going hard with this Ubisoft formula of get to a quote unquote tower and unlock some things. And I'm like, yeah, your car's not going to climb a tower, but it's essentially doing the same thing as climbing a tower. So I don't know. Maybe maybe all the games take place in the same. Wouldn't that be cool if all the games just took place in the same universe?
It would be pretty awesome. It's like, at the end of Far Cry 4, there's like a secret ending where you just find like an assassin's, like an animus machine that you like jack into, and yeah, it would be cool that there's like, yeah. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed Far Cry 4. I will probably have a review out, sometime this week, hopefully before the holidays. So, and yeah, that's Far Cry 4 for me. So.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of the crew, which I'm going to skip talking about because my review is going to go up this week. Let's just say I'm not super crazy about it. It's a driving game where the driving isn't fun, which is a shame because a lot of the other like social hooks and this open worldness is kind of neat, but it's also it's not the best looking open world, which I'll kind of it's like, oh, you can drive through, like there's no real difference between how Chicago, Miami look in this, or St. Louis, like you're in these cities and you're kind of like, oh, I recognize that landmark. But everything else just kind of look like very bland buildings. It's only when you're like in driving through the Grand Canyon, like that looks really cool, or driving on any off-roading is really neat in that game. But yeah, keep an eye out for the crew. Like I said, I'm not super excited about it, and I'm gonna skip talking about the crew because I can talk about it for a while. And I would much rather, Ryan, talk about Halo 5 Guardians, man.
Oh yeah, that new Halo game that's coming out.
That new Halo game. Yeah, so Microsoft sent me a code for the kind of their early beta. There's the big beta. It's going to happen if you have Halo: The Master Chief Collection on December 29th, where you can just kind of jump in. It's going to be like a bunch of modes, bunch of maps, and basically the Halo 5 multiplayer you're going to have full access to, which is going to be neat. So so this is for preview. The preview version I have is 2 maps. One that is the remake of Midship, and a new map called Empire. And yeah, it's a Halo game, surprisingly. And I was kind of not expecting that from the footage we saw of it. First when it was leaked, and then the kind of official trailers of these. It had this very Call of Duty Advanced Warfare vibe to it because your suits now have little boosters that thrust you around back and forth.
Right.
So that took some getting used to, especially because I was playing it as if like I always play a Halo game, and they added more traversal elements, meaning like if you jump off something and you reach a ledge and hit A, the move is called clambering. I didn't know that was the name of that motion. But your Spartan will reach up and pull himself up or kind of hop over something. That's new, which is weird because, like I said, me playing Halo for so long, I was like, oh, okay, so at first I'm making a jump, like, well, I'm not gonna make it, screw it. But then I'm like, oh wait, I can boost over this gap and just land over it with no problem. So it's not as the Advanced Warfare version of kind of this thrusting around that's really the only way how you move around that map. You jump, you boost back, you boost forward, you boost back, you use it as kind of like a double jump. Like that is your main source of mobility. Since I guess now Spartans have super suits, you already have that kind of high jump. The boost really just kind of gives you a little extra oomph on your jumps. It's not really a double jump per se. It's just like you're in the air, like a little bit further. And and I found using it for like ground combat, it's just like guy comes up to you, you hit B and you boost left and you just kind of shift over this way. Using that in a firefight has become pretty interesting because, like I said, and playing it against other people, you could tell they're not used to it either. That it's just like, oh wait, we can do this. So like you could see when 2 people are literally just discovering the boost for the first time, where they just kind of like they're overdoing it, where it's like you clearly should have just shot this guy, but instead you decided to boost because it looked kind of cool. So I found a lot of like boosting away into a corner by accident or boosting into like behind another player, which, like I said, it's a little bit weird and like it takes some getting used to. The thing that kind of threw me through a loop was kind of like the iron sight now. So Halo's always been just always had cursors. If you click the left stick to zoom whatever weapon or the right stick, so your pistol, your sniper rifles. Now
Right.
all the weapons now have these iron sights where if you hold the left trigger, it does kind of the Call of Duty.
Wow.
Will bring up the gun and has its own little crosshair and stuff, which is brand new for the franchise. And it's like I said, that's a little jarring. And I almost never used it, unless I got like a sniper rifle or every once in a while with the pistol.
Yeah.
It was a little weird. And the weird thing about it is if you get shot, it takes you out of that camera angle.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
So yeah, I found that I found that I wasn't using it all that much unless I picked up like the DMR or a lot of the long range weapons. And when you find a good spot, meaning that if Halo's not really a game where you can kind of camp all too often, but when you find like a good spot that gives you like good sight lines over the entire map, it is great. When you have that DMR rifle, you're looking at it in first person, and you see a guy zipping past, you just and you're in that cursor. Really cool, and the other one, there's a couple of videos of I did a joysticking with George where I play like an hour's worth of Halo, and I also posted up a couple of matches I did on my own with no commentary, and I got to use the ground pound a couple of times, Ryan, which is literally the most unnecessary move in anything ever, and I can't stop using it. And it's basically as you're fighting, you kind of jump in the air and you hold down the right stick. And what happens is your Spartan will hover there for a second. A cursor will come on, kind of showing you where you're going to land, and then once it glows red, you click on it, and your Spartan boosts down, punches the floor, and there's a shockwave, and anyone who's within the shockwave, which I've yet to determine how big this radius is, because I've done it like right on top of people and murdered them, but then I've clearly missed the guy entirely, but still killed him even though he was like 10, 15 feet away from me, so he like felt the effects. Like some would kill him, some would take off their shields, and when you're there, you're kind of vulnerable because I guess your Spartan's just doing, pausing for dramatic effect, and I took a lot of great screenshots of it just doing. And they added a kill cam now. They added there's a spectator mode, so I got to spectate. It's really weird. You can spectate on people on your friends list, so you're not really joining the match. You're in the match as a spectator. So I was kind of like lurking with my friend Mike who writes for Tom's Guide. I was just in his match watching him play, and then I just started sending him messages like, "I can see you."
Nice.
Should have picked a battle rifle.
Yeah, it definitely sounds. I haven't really watched a whole lot of video yet, but I'm sure I'll probably check out like either your videos or some of the other ones floating around. But like, does it still feel like Halo? Like, does it still or does it like? Because I know like my thing was like I loved 3 ODST. Reach I was okay on, and 4 wasn't my favorite just because I didn't like they moved more in that kind of Call of Duty direction, like adding loadouts and things like that. So does it still retain that Halo, like those Halo qualities, or does it feel more like it's trying to catch up with like Call of Duty and Titanfall and like more recent games?
Yes and no, because from what I've played so far, they got rid of loadouts entirely. Mm-hmm. So it's just assault rifle and pistol, which has always been the Halo way. Right. It looks like at some maps they're going to be, depending on like if it's a big map, everyone's going to have either like a DMR or a battle rifle and a pistol. But the fact that they got rid of loadouts and pretty much just gave you all of the possible abilities all at once, I think makes a lot of sense. Like you can sprint now, which was never that was an ability you had to get in one of your loadouts, was sprinting. And the fact that the fact that they just made that for everyone. That's huge because Halo, in Halo, which is different from like other shooters, is your survivability.
Actually, they added that in Halo 4. I think everyone had
sprint. What am I thinking? I'm thinking 3 with the loadout.
It was
sprint, right?
It was Reach that had the sprint.
There you go.
Yeah, and then 4 they get. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, it's different because in Halo you always had this like survivability that was like you had shields and you had some health. This one you've got shields and kind of like 3 ticks of health, and you find yourself lasting longer in usual in a gunfight where you have time to bail out and time to do more like bait and switches. Unlike a Call of Duty where you could get killed in a headshot.
Yeah.
Or like as soon as where it's not that much twitch focus. It's more like you need to kind of be more aware of like the situation that you're in. Like a 2 versus 1, you could still probably win that, but it might take a clever grenade. Clever grenade placement or being able to pick off one guy and then hopefully they kind of cross. They kind of hit crossfire and making some space. And that's what I kind of enjoyed about Halo, because you kind of always felt like you had a chance. And they're kind of sticking to kind of the old Halo ways, where it's just like this is what you start with. There are power weapons on the map. The game is still about controlling power weapons, sniper rifles, and swords. There are no more of these crazy loadouts like in 4, where you can just kind of call weapons from the sky, and it's like, hey, you can have which kind of was kind of unpredictable, because like I kind of really need a shotgun. Oh, the sniper rifle's useless right here. Why can't I give me something else? So they kind of got rid of that and more did the just respawning power weapons, which is really great because they make it a big deal when a power weapon respawns. Like, it comes up on your map and it has like a little 30-second timer on it, and then the announcer goes 10 seconds to power weapons. You're like, oh man! So it becomes like a mad dash to just kind of wait for the sword to respawn, or the sniper rifles, which basically people just wait around to just kill each other, because it becomes like a very like Hunger Games setup, which I really dug.
That sounds good. I mean, that, because like I know like with 4, I didn't really enjoy like the loadouts and things like that. Like probably 4 is the one I played the least out of all the more recent Halo games. But like I like that. This sounds good that they're going back to more to the kind of that classic Halo formula, where I felt like Halo, it wasn't so much about like what weapons or gear you had. It was just how you used it and how you strategized. Because it always, like, I feel like most Halo games came down to when you were with an opponent. You would just try and shoot each other, or find some way to like come in and melee them and do that. So it was like it was very strategic,
Yeah,
so
and like I said, and what's going to happen is you are going to find that really big skill divide now, unlike because I think what they were trying to do in Halo 4 was kind of make it they added all these kind of random elements to almost give like people who are really shitty at Halo a chance to win. So it's like, you can call a weapon drop. Yes, I got a rocket launcher. I really needed this right now. When if you're the superior player and you're doing well, you're just kind of like, wait, why should he get a rocket launcher and not me? Like, he didn't earn it.
Yeah.
So this one's more of that. So I find it. So it is going to look like if you're coming into Halo 5, like fairly late in the game, you're just kind of going to be outmatched every time. Where that is a game where you learn by just getting your ass kicked over and over and over again. And the progression system, they kind of have that Call of Duty-esque progression system, but it's more for equipment and more cosmetic things, which I always thought was fine. Like, I don't need 15 different shotguns or 15 different battle rifles, but it would be cool to get like weapons. They didn't like in 4 like. Cool little different weapon skins for dumb reason. Like, right now all we have access to is just, hey, you got a new fancy looking helmet or new arm stuff. Like, that's kind of neat, and that's all I ever want to have. I just want to make a cool looking Spartan, get me some classic maps in there, and I'm good to go. But I think the kind of natural progression for the Traverso is kind of where Halo needed to end up, just to kind of compete with more of the modern shooters right now, because the modern shooters right now is all about verticality and just moving around that map as fast as possible and jumping over this and jumping over that. Like I said, and me and Joel joked about it, like when we were playing Titanfall a lot at launch, and then me and him were both playing a lot of Battlefield. So every time you went to Battlefield and you're running around, it's like, oh man, let me get out of here. Can we climb out? I can't climb anything. I'm trapped here. I'm gonna die. And that's weird, because once you have that, like, that's a lot of freedom. Being able to like run along a wall or jump through a window or double jump or like climb onto something and boost up, like, that's really cool, and that's where I want to see shooters go. Like, I don't need the triple prestige. I don't need this many scopes on my gun or little heart. I don't like Halo's never been that game. So like 4 was trying to make that attempt to, it's like, well, Call of Duty's popular, let's try that, and that's not what Call of Duty. That's not what Halo's for. Halo's always been weapon. Everyone's got the same weapons. The better player will always win.
Yeah.
And if you're a bad player, then you just have to get better eventually. Which, like I said, I kind of forgot, because as soon as I started playing that beta, it was out super early, but it took me all day to download it. So when I did, it was kind of like already late at night, and people were already kind of stomping me. I told you, I'm very kind of like inconsistent as far as my performance as Halo, and you will see that in those videos I posted up. Some I did really well, like, very positive kill-death ratios, like, like a 2-to-1 or something. That's great. Other matches, like, I did a match with 25 kills, 10 deaths. I felt really proud of myself. And then the next match with the same people, I went 3 and 17, and I was like, man, I am the worst person ever. I want to give up video games. I want to cry. And I'm like, that's Halo. And I'm just imagining that game's going to be a lot more fun when you start playing with friends and doing your parties. And then they brought back the matchmaking with the ranking system. So I can't wait to see like what kind of different playlists. Like right now it's just Slayer, so it's just deathmatch, team deathmatch. I do want to see what their plans for Flag CTF, King of the Hill, 1 bomb, 2 bomb, neutral bomb. I love all those crazy modes Halo had, like, Infection is going to be pretty amazing, and graphically I think it looks okay. I saw some muddy textures there, but like I said, it's a beta for a game that's not coming out for like another year, so I can give a beta a pass if not so much if this was like the game's coming out next month. This is what it looks like so far. I'm like, oh, I mean, you look good, but you should probably look a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, Halo 5, I'm digging it, and I'm going to be in the beta all month long. So, and there's going to be slowly adding modes and other goodies in there. So I'll make sure to like kind of document my journey as becoming the greatest Spartan in history.
Right.
And that's just how I roll, Ryan. But yeah, that's Halo. Let's get into some news stuff real quick, because like I said, I want to go back to play more Halo. Ryan, how big of a Batman fan are you?
Of a Batman fan?
Yeah.
I would say I like Batman a good amount. I mean,
Okay.
maybe not as much as you, but a good amount, yeah.
How much would you pay for a Triforce Batman Arkham Origins scale size Cal replica statue? I'm well aware that everything I said just made no sense. But yeah, Ryan, look. How much would you pay? Let me get that price out of there.
Oh, cow! I thought you said cow for a second, and I was like, wait.
No, there's no Bat Cow. What are you doing? It's not a Grant Morrison run of Batman. There is no Bat Cow.
That is pretty awesome, I will admit. So.
That is scale, Ryan. It even lights up. You like that? It's gonna light up. I might actually. Oh no, I actually want orders. $850.
Not bad. I'd do it maybe if I had infinite money.
Yeah, like I said, that is what credit cards are for.
Yeah, of course.
I like the fact that it's on a bust of Bruce Wayne, and like, I don't know, it actually looks kind of like, out of all these dumb video game props that are out there, I actually thought this actually looked kind of cool, and like, I wouldn't be super ashamed of if I had it in my house.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not have like a Gears of War Lancer or anything. As much as I think those are cool, I'm not knocking them because fuck, I love Gears, but I don't have like a case for like this. I could just put on a desk. And then maybe I could pull his head back and I could hit the button and open the bat poles down to the bat cave. But I want that. It looks really neat. Yeah. And I was kind of wondering if you can. It doesn't look like it's not removable, because I would love to just take it off Bruce Wayne's head and just slowly slide it over mine and just do my greatest Christian Bale impersonation.
Wait, sorry, I couldn't hear you because you sounded like you were swallowing gravel. Could you say that again?
Shut up. Fine, whatever. Go play Smash Bros. Oh, by the way, I have a bone to pick with you, Mr. Ryan. Oh, nearly have forgotten. I said we're going to talk about this, and then I forgot about it.
That was a good segue into the next segment. So,
as you may know, I recently came into owning a Wii U. I am now a Nintendo Wii U owner.
Congratulations.
So I have all three next-gen, in quotes, consoles. And I was actually really excited because the Wii right now has all the games I want to play.
You don't have all of them. You don't have the Ouya, which also is included in there. So.
Oh man, where else would I play Towerfall? Oh wait, the PS4.
Oh wait, PS4 or PC. So.
Yeah. So so figured the first game I'd play would be Smash Brothers, because I have it there, and it was that bundle that came with like 1 million games. So I was like, let me try this out. Lo and behold, after I patch it for like 3 hours, the game works. I plug it in. I got my big, massive gamepad, and I load up a match of Smash Brothers. No idea what's going on. I'm like, all right, let me just pick 4 random assholes. I pick who did I pick? I pick Link, the good-looking Link, not the Toon Link. But I pick Link. I'm like, all right, sure, I can see what he can do. 3 other random assholes in there. Realize as soon as I started playing Smash Brothers, I have no idea how to play Smash Brothers. So to me, it looks like I can move my character with the left stick, which seems accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Seems that I can fight and do stuff with the face buttons.
Yes.
And then with the right stick, I can still attack people.
You can, but you don't need to use the right stick necessarily.
What is the right stick for? Is that just if I hit up, it's essentially my X button and my down? Or is it just like an extra button, technically?
Usually it's used as a C stick, which you use for smash attacks, specifically. So that's like the C stick is used for like quick smash attacks. So you could do either way.
And a smash attack is what knocks people out of the thing.
Smash attacks are your more powerful attacks that you tend to use more for smashing people out of the stage.
Okay, what do the triggers do?
What are you playing on the gamepad or?
Yeah, I'm playing on the gamepad.
I wouldn't really know exactly because I haven't played on the gamepad. I've been playing with either the GameCube controller. Like, I've been playing mostly with the GameCube controllers or the 3DS. So I don't really. But
So my first problem is I need a gamepad, is what you're saying. I need like a GameCube gamepad in order to play.
No, I mean it's just I haven't really played on the gamepad, so I don't know how the controls are different. But usually one trigger will be for your shield, so that way you can put up your shield and block attacks.
Okay.
And then if you use the shield plus either left or right, like rolling left or right, that lets you do a roll.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other trigger will probably be your throw, so you could grab people and then you could throw them into different directions.
Had no idea I can do any of that, and I was like, I should learn how to play. But after I literally got decimated into my first match against like,
I was gonna say, if you're a Smash Brothers noob, then I can train you, young Padawan.
We'll do a special joysticking with George where Ryan teaches me how to play.
Yes, we will do.
Smash Brothers.
It'll just be It'll be 4 hours of me teaching you the ways of Smash Brothers and training you in epic training montage of Smash Brothers. So.
You're just smacking the gamepad out of my hand every time I make a mistake. Goes, no, you smashed wrong.
No, it'll just be me slapping you just for making mistakes. But yeah. But anyway.
You can feel it. Little Mac can feel it. Do better. So I'm not super crazy about Smash Bros. What I am crazy about is Zombie U, that Ubisoft great zombie game, which is dumb. I love it.
So welcome to 2012. Welcome back. It's been a while. So.
But yeah, I love the permadeath aspect of it, where you can go out, you die, and then you basically become another survivor, and then you have to go get the stuff from your corpse who just became a zombie. So you have to like fight yourself, which is like super meta, and I was like, well, this is intense. But
yeah,
I love that whole setup of that game, which is pretty amazing. But I'm this week I'm going to try out the Donkey Kong game. Not a big huge Donkey Kong guy, and maybe some Super Mario World, because that seems fun. But yeah, Wii U. I'm playing more Wii U than anything. Go fucking figure. All right, Ryan.
Yes.
Final Fantasy XIV is a game.
It is a game, yes, last I remember.
It is an MMORPG, and normally people who play online, according to Giuseppe's article, there's that stigma that MMO players are detached and alienated from the real world. Yet, there was a real-world event, Ryan. There was a player who recently passed away, and they put together they did a memorial service in-game, which I actually thought was really neat, and I'm not doing it justice because I'm just skimming through the article, but I read a bit and thought, like, that's actually really cool. They actually set up a cool little shrine and gave him kind of an immortal rank of Immortal Siren, and I was like, that's really cool. And yeah, it's this guy died of kidney failure, and they just kind of it's basically coming from Reddit, but people got together and just kind of like almost doing like a vigil and that one of those rare cases where I like seeing game communities come together and really just kind of like, I don't know, just paying respects, or just like for once not being absolute monsters to each other.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what, these people are all there for a common interest. They're all playing Final Fantasy XIV because they love it, and it's like, you know what, you should embrace people who are into your hobby, and you should support them. And like, I thought that was actually kind of neat. And
yeah.
But yeah, that seemed really cool. That kind of thing's always kind of like, it warms my freezing cold heart, and I think that's actually kind of neat. So
yeah, it is. I mean, it is, like you said, it is a good just kind of show of community, especially in something like an MMO where it is like so heavily focused on like people interacting, and it is a good change of pace to see like people like and it's not just MMOs. Like I remember, I think with Borderlands 2, I think Gearbox did something similar to that, where there was a player that a big Borderlands fan that was passed away, and so they honored him by making him an NPC in the game. And even World of Warcraft earlier this year with Robin Williams, when they made the NPCs based on some of the characters.
Oh yeah, that genie guy. That was actually really cool.
And then,
yeah, and I think Total War did that. They took a guy who's dying of cancer and put his face on one of the Roman troops in one of the cutscenes, and I'm like, that's really cool. Like, I think gamers get so much crap of being like just absolute terrors that it's like, no, they are capable of like just selfless. Empathy and just like a selfless act of kindness, which is always kind of cool.
Yeah.
So good job, Final Fantasy XIV community. I'm proud of you. Well done.
Good job, video game players.
Good job, video game players. You are human beings after all. I never doubted you for a second.
Yeah.
Ryan, the most important news. I'm just gonna skip that entirely. That really nice moment, and just trample it with Vivo, Pandora, and Telemundo are coming to Xbox One. Finally.
After all this time.
And also Bravo Now, which would make my girlfriend happy.
Yeah, and now all those telenovelas that you've been missing out on that you've always just needed to catch up on. Now you can make that dream happen.
Right. Temporado is a great show. All right. I was a Dos Mujeres en un Camino fan. That was always good. That's all we watch in my house. But
I remember like when I was going through Port Authority one time for like a couple weeks, they had all these like advertisements and banners and stuff like that for all these like Telemundo shows, and I'm like, well, I've never heard of any of these, but hey,
wildly
got the word
popular.
out there.
Wildly popular.
Yes.
Okay. Final bit of news. Unless there's anything I'm missing. Anything breaking on your end, Ryan? It's Sunday night. I know there's a heavy news cycle going on right now. Anything happening in news in your end?
Well, I mean, they announced the PS5 and all that stuff. So nothing. No, I'm just.
It's in the cloud.
Yeah, it's in the cloud. Not that I know of. No. So we can move on.
If you can will it, it just materializes.
If you build it, it will come.
Ryan, there's going to be a remastered edition of Halo 3 ODST. Yes. This was the game we wanted.
Yeah. Did they announce? Was this? I only just heard of this because they said that they were giving this for free to the players of the Master Chief Collection. So is that the only reason why they're doing it, or were they doing this in general?
It sounds like they were already working on this.
But
it sounds like they're working on this. But like I said, 343 Industries, Bonnie Ross, the head of 343, issued kind of a formal apology. It was actually kind of like a heartfelt apology, where it's like you can kind of see that like these problems just sort of showed up out of nowhere, and like which is weird, and just like given the state of games this last kind of couple of months, that it was just poor timing and like poor 343 who like they did like a fine job with Halo 4. It showed people that like, listen, the franchise is fine, we won't fuck it up, look, we did it, it's cool, all right, Halo will be fine. And then they released this Master Chief Collection, which was kind of like, we're just putting this together, this will probably make the fans happy, and because we'll be working on Halo 5 while this is going on, and just to have that be just abject failure as far as the game not working like it's supposed to. At least the online portion, the single player works just fine, and that's super fun. But a lot of people like to play Halo because of the multiplayer, and the fact that that wasn't working, people are still reporting problems now, and we're almost 2 months into it, into its release. So they decided to give fans. So if you played Halo Master Chief Collection between a certain time, you will be getting a remastered version of Halo 3 ODST Campaign. Meaning the single player, because that game, the only multiplayer that game had was the firefight mode. So they didn't say anything about firefight just yet, which I actually kind of liked. That was that wave bait, that horde mode where like the aliens would swoop in and drop guys, and you have to like fend them off for as long as you can. They didn't say anything about that. I hope they release that game, but yeah, it's going to be upgraded 1080p, 60 frames per second. Same kind of. Pretty much what they did with Halo 3 and 4 of the of the Halo Master Chief Collection.
I mean, I'm just happy because I would love ODST, so I'm happy that it's getting that treatment.
To me, that had maybe the best story. It was just a very small, self-contained story that just made a lot of sense. It wasn't like world-ending stakes. It was just like, I need to get my squad out of this city that's going to blow up. And to me, that was totally fine. I love the way the game was broken down because it was kind of like a semi-open world, and then you got like a memento, and then you flash back into that guy's memento. So it's like, the first thing is that you see a helmet smashed in through a glass. So it's like, well, who does this helmet belong to? And it goes to that like squad member, which is really neat. But they're also giving people a month of Xbox Live Gold, an exclusive in-game nameplate, an exclusive in-game avatar for Halo 3. When you're sliding through everything, you can pick an avatar for yourself, and there's a cool little nameplate you can put for your name. And they're also giving out Relic, the Halo 2 remake. The map Relic is being remade the same way Lockout got remade, or Blood Gulch is kind of like that cool. It's not just we're making it 1080p and 60 frames. It's like, no, we've actually redid this map from scratch. So they're doing that with Relic, which should be cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, the satisfaction and joy of our fans is absolutely critical to everyone at 343 Industries, and we regret the issues and the frustration you have endured. We are truly sorry, and thank you for your continued patience support for the Halo franchise. So, like I said, and they want to say we're grateful for our fans who stood by us and appreciate all the patience you have as we work through these issues. As a token of our appreciation and a thanks for fans for the committed support, we'll be offering the following items for free. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate them just kind of owning up to the problem. I think Drive Club could, learn something from these people. Like, look, we get it. The game, there's some issues with the game, but you really need to like jump on. You need to really jump on that grenade when that happens. Yeah. And I think 343 they did it. You know, they took their lumps and they said we're gonna make this better. We're gonna give you updates every week, every day if we have to. Draft Club was just kind of like, oh, some people say this game doesn't work. That's weird. Oh, it must be that PS4 update. That yeah, 2.0 that broke it. See, not us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even Ubisoft's done that too with Unity and to a lesser extent Far Cry, and I guess there are other games that have had issues where they offered free DLC, they offered a free game. They've been on top of doing updates, even as buggy messes as some of those games have been. At least it's a good show of faith that they're not completely just screwing people over by that even though these issues shouldn't have probably come when the game's launched, that at least they're trying to fix it and make it up to fans. So because that's the most important thing, I think, is that keeping good faith with fans. Because these are the people that are buying the game day one, pre-ordering all that stuff.
Yeah, and these are the same people that are gonna, they're probably interested in Halo 5, and you want to kind of make a good, you want people going into Halo 5 like, yeah, I can't wait for Halo 5. Not people are like, got Halo 5, I hope it works. Like you want to kind of eliminate that entirely, because when we were talking about it, we talked about this a few times, where it's like, you go, you buy a game, you spend $60, you come home, you want your one worry to be, I hope this game is good, not, man, I hope this game works all the time, and not just some of the time, or should I wait a week and try it again? Like, well, that's what you don't want.
This year, I feel like it's been the year that console gamers got a taste of PC gamer worries, where they're like, they get a game and they're just like, well, I hope this is actually gonna work on my system. So.
Yeah, you poor PC guys. It's slowly coming around. I'm gonna upgrade my PC soon and make that like my primary gaming console, and I'm gonna be really frustrated when those issues happen again, where it's like, oh, you didn't update your driver. You should update your driver because now it doesn't work because your guy has no head now. Oh wait, your NVIDIA. Well, NVIDIA works fine. You should have got an AMD graphics card because we have a marketing code publishing deal with him. And it's like, oh my God, what's going on here? Why can't you put this on console?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I think that's all the news we got. GTA Online is doing like a special Christmas update, so you can get ski hats and gingerbread faces, and you can throw snowballs at people.
And heists. They showed the trailer for the long anticipated heist.
Yes, heist. Finally.
After more than a year since they promised it, it's finally happening. So.
Yeah, that trailer is really impressive, and they were showing you pretty much what a heist will consist of. They released some details. The person who puts together the heist, it's a 4-player mission. So there's one person who's like the heist leader, and you have to have a penthouse. You have to have a bunch of money to invest up front into equipment for the heist, and then once you set up, you kind of have the same setup as the single player, where here's this big planning board, and you see multiple paths that you can go, and you kind of give people assignments. So it's like, hey, for this job, we're going to need two garbage trucks. So and so you're going to be in charge of that. So and so you're in charge of getting weapons. So and so you're in charge of getting masks or something, and then it all comes together for this kind of really big multi-part kind of mission, which, like I said, if you play the single player and done any of the heists for Grand Theft Auto 5, they want to do more of that. And and reading the interview, the issue was, and it sounded like they had something at launch, and it maybe just wasn't fun. And they just it seems like they went back to the drawing board a lot of times, because the guy brought up a good point. The Rockstar developer, I can't remember his name right now, brought up a good point where it's like, yeah, one of the roles in one of these heists would be like, hey, someone could probably be a wheelman. In the single player, if someone was a wheelman, you just didn't play as him. You just switched to him when it was his turn to drive. But it's like, that's not going to be the case, because this is going to be an actual person. Do we have them just sitting still for 20 minutes until the other guy, does he not participate, or does he take over? So I think those are the kind of challenges that came just to make sure everyone's having fun. Like, people are going to be able to hack. So is their whole game going to be just mini games on a computer at a certain time? I mean, those are unique problems we've never seen before for a game of for at least of something of that scope, and like a super ambitious progress. Of course, I wish this was out a lot sooner, because man, that would have been great, and I think that really would have helped out. It would have gave the GTA Online some direction as far as why am I doing all this shit? So, and I stayed around long enough thinking, oh, heist will be coming soon. Let me make sure I got tons and tons of cash. And I did get tons and tons of cash. I bought my penthouse. I got a million cars. And I'm like, now I have nothing to do. So it's good to be able to go back and take my cool guy and his cool owl mask and rob some banks or break people out of jail. Like, that's going to be really neat. But yeah, if there's special holiday packs that are out there, new cars, scarves, sweaters, just really goofy nonsense, which is great. I mean, I'm playing the online a lot with my brother, and we're having a good time with it. But yeah, good on you. It's very festive.
Yep.
And I think that's it for news. Ryan, what are you playing? What's going to occupy your time now until Christmas?
Well, on the site end of things, I finished Far Cry 4, so hopefully I will work as quickly as I can to get a review out for that. So you'll see that out there. For the site, I'm also reviewing NES Ultimate Remix on 3DS.
Nice.
Yeah, which is a fun little game so far that I'm enjoying. I guess basically my pitch for it is that it's sort of like WarioWare, but it incorporates all the classic NES titles. So you've got Super Mario Brothers, you've got Punch Out, Donkey Kong, Dr. Mario, basically Kirby, Kid Icarus, like all the classic kind of Metroid, all that kind of stuff, all the classic NES titles you can remember. And then it just throws them into these very quick little short, some like 30 seconds to a minute long, like little short mini games. So it'll be different challenges, like okay, complete the first level of Mario in under 30 seconds, or it'll be like some of the remix stages that you can unlock throw in all these weird twists. So there was one where I played a stage from Kirby, but it had the boos from Mario, so I had to try and fight the boss, but also avoid getting killed by the boos. So I had to switch. So I had to look at the boos so they wouldn't keep moving up and try and hit me, but I also had to take the boss on at the same time. So it throws in these interesting little twists. That's pretty fun. So it's a good, especially because I've been playing on my commute, so it's been a perfect game for that, just because I can go in, play a couple stages, and do that. So that's it for. Oh, and then the other thing was I got a preview build of Dying Light, which is the new game coming from Techland, who developed the original Dead Island. So after downloading it and getting it to work on my PC, which I was very happy to, because I was afraid that it would totally not run on my computer at all, but it actually works really nicely. It looks amazing. Even though I'm running it on the lower end, so I'm doing more medium to low settings on it, it still looks fantastic and it looks great. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'll have a hands-on preview for that. I'm going to try and play it over the holidays, then my break, and get a preview out. And then just for fun stuff, now that I've got Far Cry off my plate, which was taking up a lot of my time, I can go into. I've been playing Infamous Second Son on PS4. That's been my first. I just got my PS4, so that's my first game I'm really diving into.
How are you liking it so far?
So far, so good. I feel like it's really fun. I don't know if there's anything yet that's really wowed me. But there's some really cool stuff. I actually just got to the parts where you meet Fetch.
Yes.
And you start getting your neon powers and all that, which is really great. And that's been pretty cool. I also played a little bit of PT, but also was
highly recommended. I say you get PT.
Very terrifying. So those have been my PS4 games. I also just got a couple of new PS4 games. I got Destiny and Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes.
Sweet.
So I'll get to those over my break. And then the last one is I'm actually probably going to play a little bit tonight, some more Alien Isolation, because I want to try and finish that before the end of the year. So that's it.
Yeah, I've got a ton of stuff to play. I think for review right now I'm wrapping up The Crew. I've got Loadout, that free-to-play shooter on the PS4, which I'm kind of digging so far. I mean, it's... the thing is, I don't think it's more than what it is, meaning, once you play it for 20 minutes, you're like, no, that's the game. So that's all we got. So, I can't wait to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that, because that actually looks kind of fun, because you know what? I don't think there are that many games to play on the PS4 that are kind of and I think I'm not talking in terms of exclusivity, where it's hey, you know what? It's good to have kind of free-to-play distractions like Warframe and DC Universe. So yeah, Loadout actually looks kind of neat. So I'm kind of getting more into that. Like I said, I got more Wii U stuff to play, so I'm gonna play a little bit more into Zombie U. I think I'm gonna do another couple of people lives there, and then maybe put that aside for now. But I got Murdered. So I picked up some games the other day when I was doing some Christmas shopping, and I picked up Murdered Soul Suspect.
Oh, yeah.
I am really looking forward to playing that game, because I remember looking at it, I wasn't super excited when it came out, and then looking at it at $20-something, I got excited to play it, and I was like, okay, for $20, I can take the risk here.
Yeah.
And it's your Ghost Cop, so I'm like, all right, let's do some Ghost Cop stuff. So that's gonna be neat. So I'm gonna play that during the break. Also playing that Star Wars The Old Republic expansion pack. So I brought back my Imperial Agent. Siphon 9, that's his code name, just does what he can. So I'm gonna go stop Revan, because apparently he's a jerk in this game. So I'm gonna kick his ass. So that's going to happen, and yeah, there's just I still have a lot to play, and I'm glad this break is coming up, or at least I got a few days off from work, which will be kind of neat, and I can just kind of veg out and play video games, which is really what Christmas is for when you think about it. But yeah, I think that's everything. I'm looking forward to just kind of, and it's a lot of time. This is maybe the best time of year. Like all my friends who own systems and play games, they kind of like can play video games with me. So I might have some people over and we'll play some like 4-player split screen Halo or something. Assuming Master Chief Collection works by Christmas. But yeah, to me, that Christmas has always been a good time to play games with people. So that should be interesting and fun.
Especially Smash Brothers, right?
Yeah, totally. No, I don't want to play Smash Brothers at all. But Ryan, before I go, what was the best thing you got for a Christmas gift as a kid, video game wise?
Probably actually bringing it back around to Smash Brothers. Probably the best thing was when I was probably 9 or 10. I think I was like 10. I got my N64 with a copy of Super Smash Brothers, and that whole day I proceeded to do nothing else but play Smash Brothers for that entire day. It was great. Yeah, that was probably. I mean, that's like a cliche. I hate to be a cliche and be the N64 kid, just opening up the N64. Like, I think that's definitely one of my best ones because the only consoles I've really gotten as a Christmas gift were N64, PlayStation 2, and then any other one I've either like gotten with Christmas. Like my 360, I bought with Christmas money, so I didn't really get it as a gift, but I got it, for myself. So
I was at that. Yeah, there was a certain age where I was like, don't bother trying to figure out what my tastes are. Just give me cash and I'll buy it myself.
Yeah,
but, But I've always been, I think Christmas, like, my Sega Genesis was a Christmas gift as a kid. I think for doing really well in my first grade when I got my report card at that time of year, they got me a Sega Genesis with Sonic the Hedgehog. Next was maybe a 32X I got for Christmas, which in hindsight probably wasn't a great gift. I should have just really told them to get a Super NES, but hey, you live and learn. A Sega Saturn was also a Christmas gift.
A lot of Sega that I'm noticing.
A lot of Sega, like, after the Genesis, everything was just defunct Sega systems. But those are stuff I really wanted as a kid. Or I also remember one more recent one was when I remember getting Tomb Raider 2 as a kid for Christmas, because that game was just sold out. And the game was just impossible to get around the holidays, and my parents superheroed their way into getting a copy. Like, I don't know what they had to do, I don't know who they had to hurt or pay off, but I remember shopping with my parents looking for it, and like, well, we're sold out everywhere, and I'm like, man, this sucks, and just being really bummed out Christmas because we open our gifts at midnight. So midnight, I'm like, I'm there. My brothers open their gifts. I'm like, oh, okay, cute. You got your toys, whatever. I really want. Like, I know I'm not getting what I want. So I'm like, whatever. And then I come back and there's a gift on my bed, and I open it and it's fucking Tomb Raider. And my parents are like, yeah, we got it like a week ago. Like, we just drove you around getting you sold out to get your hopes up, and then really punch you in the face with surprise. And I'm like, you guys, you're monsters.
They pulled a Red Ryder BB gun on you and just
like those absolute worst. But yeah, I think that's it. But before we go, if you still need to shop for a holiday gift, I recommend going to the DualShockers TeePublic store and picking up Iron Man ironing a shirt, or Mario periodic table, some Borderlands T-shirts, the Mario dressed up like Rocket Raccoon. That's actually kind of neat. The Keep Calm and Finish Him, Badass Robot Mega Man, some Star Wars-y stuff. Mario playing the harmonica, which is actually a cartridge. That's actually kind of cool. I like that one.
That one's cool, yeah.
He's blowing through the cartridge. Like, that's actually kind of neat. But if you need a last minute Christmas, and a birthday gift. Some people have birthday around Christmas. I mean, it is Jesus' birthday, so if you want to get Jesus a gift, he might actually want a cool Throne of Games T-shirt. So go to our TeePublic store through DualShockers.com and get a cool shirt for a loved one. Even if somebody you don't like, maybe get them a shirt, and maybe they might like you for getting them a present and be like, oh my god, we're so misunderstood, we should be friends forever. And that is how you make long-lasting relationships with people, is you give them stuff. Yeah. All right, and that was it. This was ShockCast. Hope you guys have a fantastic holiday. Ryan, enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your time off. You will show me how to play Smash Brothers at some point in my life. So we will do that. We will make it. We will videotape it. It'll be magical. Thanks for joining me, Ryan.
You're welcome. And don't worry, your journey to Smashdom will be long and arduous, but it'll be rewarding as well. Especially from me.
I find it really...
except when I play as the villager and just own your ass, because
that actually sounds I rather chew glass. And the rest of you have a fantastic holiday. We'll be back before the end of the year to get people on and talk about our favorite games of the year and our favorite. We'll reflect on the year in gaming of 2014 and look forward to the future and stuff to look forward to. I'm sure it looks bright and magical and perfect. And I hope you guys have have a fantastic holiday. Spend it playing video games with the people you love, but most importantly, spend it playing video games and looking at DualShockers.com and reading interesting articles and looking at an episode of Joysticking with George, or just some of the random videos I throw up about the Halo 5 beta. Anything like that would be great. So you guys take care. Feliz Navidad, Happy Hanukkah, you do all that. Take care. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy Hanukkah, Ryan.